Students, how are you? I hope you all are fine. Okay, and again I came to the new lesson. Okay, that is the social science. In this social science, we are learning about the geography part. In this geography, the second lesson we are learning. And what is the meaning of the geography? Before lesson only I told. Geography means geographical condition of the earth. So here in this second lesson we have learned that the geographical condition, how it will be, you can be able to understand clearly. Okay, and what is the lesson here? First, the second lesson is land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife and resources. So this all will become as a natural resources, isn't it? Yes, and let's move on to the topic. What here the natural resources, how it will be useful, the land how it will be useful, and what type of soils it will be there, and the water condition of the water, and natural vegetation what will be going on, and wildlife and resources. This all we will be learning in this lesson. What is the first word in this lesson? Land. Land is a natural resources. Yes, here there is a difference in the quality of land, soil, water, natural vegetation, animal and usage of the technology and availability of such resources. The main reason is a different place in a different way we can be able to each other. Okay, and let's move on to the topic. The first one is the land. The most important natural resources which covers only about 30% of the land area of the earth surface, that not all parts it is not habitable. Okay, and here the uneven distribution of population, because the population also has been different because of the landforms only, different parts of the world, mainly due to the various characteristics of land and climate, and by the situation only the people will be live because of the depend on their land. And how now we are learning about land use. What is that one? Next word is we have to use the land. How we will be use the land? Okay, land is used for different purposes such as agriculture we will use, forestry, mining, building houses, roads and settle up industries. This is a commonly termed as a land use. Okay, I hope you understand what I told. The use of land is determined by the physical factors such as topography. Topography means different types of landforms, soil, climate, minerals and availability of water. So human factors such as population and technology are more also important determinant of land use resource. And on the basis of ownership, land can be classified into the private land and the community land. Okay, what is a private land? Private land owned by individuals, and community land owned by the community of common users. This land will be used. The commonly land are called as a property resource. So the vast change of land use such process, and the vast change in the land use pattern reflect the central changes in the society because of expansion of the agriculture and constructive activities. So major things like land degradation, landslides, soil erosion and desertification are created. So this is the main important of the concept of the land. I hope you are understand about the land. And the next topic is soil. And the next topic is soil. And now we are learning about the soil. Soil it is a thin layer of granite substance covering the surface of the earth is called soil. The landforms determine the type of soils. Soil is made up of organic metals, minerals, weather rocks found on the earth. The right mix of minerals and organic metal make the soil fertile. This one we have to learn about the factors of soil formation. What is that one? Factors of soil formation. What are the factors of soil formation? Okay, and here the main factors of soil formation are the nature of the parent rock and the climate, and but other factors also affect soil formation. These are topography, role of organic material and time, which is composition of soil formation. All these differ from place to place. Here, what we have to learn about the another important topic is degradation of soil. What is that one? Degradation of soil. Degradation of soil. And here, what is the degradation of the soil? Soil erosion and depletion are the major theatre to soil as resource. And here, the factors which led to soil degradation are deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers, pesticides, rainwash, landslides and floods. So this we call it as a degradation of soil, and these are the factors which led the soil degradation. Methods of useful for the purpose of soil conservation. Methods of soil conservation. In that one we have to learn some of the points. Mulching. What is that one? Mulching. And here this mulching means what? It includes covering soil and organic matter like straw, which helps in retaining the soil moisture. And next one is counter barriers. Next one is counter barriers. Counter barriers. It is this stone, grass, soil are used to build barriers along contour. Trenches are made in front for collecting water. Okay. And next one is rock dam. Next one is rock dam. And what is this rock dam? Rocks are built up to slow down and flow of water, and this prevents gullies and further soil loss. And the next one is terrace farming. Next one is terrace farming. Terrace farming. Here, what is a terrace farming? In this broad, flat steps are made on the steep slopes so that flat surface are available for the growing crops. Next one is intercropping. What is the next one? Intercrop. Different crops are grown in alternative rows and sown at different times to project the alternate intercropping. So the soil of the rain wash. And the next one is contour ploughing. What is the ploughing? Ploughing parallel to the contours of a hill slope to form a natural barrier of water in flow down the slope. And next one is shelter plains. In the coastal and dry regions, rows of trees are planted to check the wind movement and refer to as a soil cover. So this we can able to understand different types of factors of soil we have learned, degradation of soil we have learned. In that degradation of the soil, the functions of the soils we can able to learn. Next topic, another word, what is the given there? Water. Here, water is the main important to the human body and the living beings. The water is the main important. And here, a vital renewable natural resource, this one. A vital renewable natural resources. It will become again and again. And in the earth, 3/4 of the earth's surface is covered with water. Earth is called as a water planet. And it is found that life began almost 3.5 billion years back in primitive oceans. And here, the fresh water accounts for only about 2.7%, and only 1% of fresh water is available and fit for the human and use found as a groundwater or surface water in rivers and lakes and water vapor in atmosphere. Water can neither be added nor subtracted from the earth. It is a total volume remains constant. Okay, and here we can able to know, everyone know the water cycle. Cycling to the oceans, the air, the land and back again to the process of evaporation, precipitation and runoff. The water, and again it will be going into the oceans. This process referred to as a water cycle. And next, the water shortage may be consequence of various of seasonal or manual precipitation of the scarcity caused by over exploitation and containment of the water resource. Even though water is being categorized under the renewable resource category, it overuse the pollution make it unfit for use. There is a scarcity of water in many regions of the world, and shortage of water may be consequence various seasonal or annual precipitation. Okay, and here the main important of the scarcity of water is now the scarcity is water is over exploitation and containing water resource. Today is the major problem of adequate of the water resource. And why? Because to discharge the treated sewage, agricultural chemicals and industrial effluents, water bodies are major contents with pollute water with nitrates, metals and pesticides. Most of these chemicals are non-biodegradable and reach human bodies through water. So here the main important of the water, forest and other vegetations also cover the surface runoff of the water, underground water. Water harvest saves and water runoff from the surface. So we can able to understand about the water. The water is a renewable natural resource. Topic is the last topic, natural vegetation and wildlife. What is here? The natural vegetation and wildlife. So here this natural vegetation and wildlife exist in the narrow zone of the contact between lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, or we called as a biosphere. Okay, lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. When lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere interact with each other to support is called biosphere. And vegetation and wildlife are renewable resource. The life supporting system is the biosphere, where the living beings are interrelated on each other for survival is known as ecosystem. In this one, the timber, shelter of animals, produce oxygen, protect soil, act as shelter belts, shortage of groundwater, fruits, nuts, gums and medical plants, everything it will be available in the natural vegetation. The wildlife includes animals, birds, insects as well as aquatic life forms which are integral of maintenance balance in the ecosystem. The growth of vegetation depends primarily on temperature and moisture. The major vegetations in the world are grouped as forest, grassland, scrubs and tundra. The forests are associated with areas having abundant water supply. Forests are broadly classified as evergreen and deciduous depending on their shedding of leaves, because here the two types is evergreen forest and deciduous forest. What is evergreen forest? Evergreen forest do not shed their leaves simultaneously in any season of the year. But coming to the deciduous forest, shed their leaves in a particular season to conserve loss of moisture through transpiration. With the increase of the population of the world, there is a decrease, as we say, rapid decrease. But forests cover all over the world, but ultimately creates an urgent need to conserve the valuable resources. And now we have the natural parks. Parks will be there, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves are made to protect the natural vegetation and wildlife. There will be a balance. The environment of the relative number of species is not be disturbed. So laws are passed against the trade and killing of birds as well as animals in many countries. In India, killing lions, tiger, deer, great Indian bustards and peacocks is illegal. Okay, and coming to this one, CITES as International Convention has been established to order to list several species of animals, birds which are trade to prohibited. So it is an ethical day of every citizen to conserve the plants and the animals. Okay, I hope you are understood about the concept of this second lesson. What is the second lesson? The land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife resources. These are the second lesson, and all this will become as a natural resources. In this natural resources, we have to understand everything by meaning of it is useful to all the human beings and the animals also. I hope you all are understood about this topic, and you have to find out one of the activity. And the activity means how to do the one of the activity. That activity is name the countries having the highest percentage of land under the cropland, forest, pastures and other uses, you have to find it in the net, and which are the countries that are using the cropland, pasture land, forest and other uses. That you have to find out that information and write down the project work. I attached the worksheet also. Okay, and I hope you all are understood about the geography second lesson, and you have to go to the textbook and read the textbook clearly and write down the sum of the question and answers in the textbook, and we will be meet in the next session.